I want to talk about why Joe Biden should run for re-election and that he should not step down. When you're the incumbent president running for re-election, the vast majority of them get a second term. Um, um, and also what I and also Trump Biden performed much better in the primary than Trump because he was the incumbent president running for re-election. He got like 90% of the Democratic votes. A sitting president running for re-election get a second term. How did Trump lost? Because the election was apparently stolen from him. And there's an interesting guy by the name of Helmut Northbot. He had Trump winning at 91% of chance compared to Biden 9% of chance. The reason why Trump got 11 million more votes than he had in 2016 is because he was the incumbent running for re-election. Now, the pandemic, the Democrat benefited off the pandemic. I am not familiar with, the machine switching vote, but I'm familiar with the basic ballots coming after the election day. For example, like a few days ago, there was this guy by the name of George that showed evidence of voter fraud after election days. This is what the Democrat benefited off to, potentially to steal the election from Trump. And then Helmut Northbot, the dude, he has a good track record of predicting election. He predicted Trump victory in 2016, 91% to 9% chance. Now Biden, this is his prediction. "75% chance." When you get like 75% of the primary vote, you're guaranteed to win re-election. And Biden got like 90% over Marianne Williamson. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so this is Trump. This is Biden. The primary total. Biden performed better in the primary. According to his primary model, the person who performed better in the primaries goes on to win the general election. And Nikki Haley was neck and neck with Trump because he was a challenger, he was not the incumbent. Yeah, there were some polls, like North Carolina, where he won like 79% of the votes. Biden won like what, 89% of the votes. This is the power of being an incumbent president. If Bernie Sanders had gotten the nomination in 2016, he would have beaten Trump, um, because his policy was overwhelmingly popular with the American in terms of Medicare for all, free college, living wage, but if Bernie had run against Trump in 2020, he would not have beaten Trump because Trump has the power of the incumbency. And that showed in the 2020 election how massive amount of people voted for him. Now, is it possible that Trump can win the election? Yes, it is possible. It is possible that RFK can hurt Biden and help Trump. I mean, when you look at his primary model, he has a 25% chance of winning. But when Trump was the incumbent in 2020, he had a 91% chance to Biden 9% chance. So all these people that keep saying Biden should step down, you still hold no. He should not step down, because if you put Trump against another Democratic candidate, he's going to win, because that candidate will not have the power of being an incumbent president running for re-election. Now there has been incumbent that lost re-election, just like Bill Clinton beating George H.W. Bush in 1992. But Bill Clinton massively underperformed in the general election. In the primary, he had like 32% of the vote. Yeah, that was his primary percentages, which is not that great for a sitting president running for re-election. So there was like an interesting article that I read, but I'm having a hard time finding it. So Biden was a better, primary performer. Trump was not. Yeah, Nikki Haley pulled like at 30% compared to Marianne Williamson, who only pulled like 5% to 4%. Because the way how a candidate perform in a primary give an indication of how you will perform in the general. I mean, she pulled out double digits in Alabama. Because he's a political expert. Because he did the calculation 75% to 25%. He was wrong in 2020 because, COVID. So my point is, he should not step down because an incumbent president running for re-election usually get a second term. And he had like over 7, and when you get like 75% of the primary vote, you're like somewhat guaranteed to win. And he had like 80% of the primary votes. This is when, this is the example of the power of becoming the incumbent. You sweep. Okay, so, because that was an interesting article. Anyway, it doesn't matter. My point is this: you know, a sitting president running for re-election give the party the best chance to win re-election. Now, 2020, it's possible there might have been, some phishing things happen, but you had his days in court, 60 court cases, and they failed to really provide evidence. I am not familiar with the voting machine switching, but I am familiar with, the basics. That's all I gotta say.